Then you get into wireframing. Now these are the wireframes from the app that we previously started with. And we kind of, so once you've got your specification, you're like, okay, how am I going to build it? How is it roughly going to look? How are users going to interact with this application? So this is an example of one of our wireframes when we were looking at this kind of integrated CRM platform with NPS surveys and all that kind of stuff. So at that point, it was a bit muddy. Another one there. Okay. So I'm just going to run through now some of the kind of key points really in application design. So you saw in sort of the wireframes there, the spec document, the whiteboard sessions. But these really are the kind of the key points you have to kind of bear in mind when you're building an application. The first one is kind of be realistic. That kind of sounds obvious, but it's sometimes not so obvious. And it's not so obvious because there's something called hidden complexity. Now, hidden complexity is exactly how it sounds. It's something that's really, really complicated that you didn't necessarily think was complicated. Now, this kind of thing crops up all the time in application development. And the only way you're ever going to kind of really get to the bottom of it, sometimes you never will, sometimes things just crop up, but is that you've really got to dig deep and kind of start to kind of flesh out exactly how this system's going to work, which kind of feeds into the second point, setting your priorities and expectations. So as you sort of saw from the spec document, you've got very functional items listed. This is what you've got to do. You've got to say, right, okay, what functions does an application need? How are we going to achieve it in a way that's manageable from a time period? So, I mean, you can't say, okay, we're going to create this application and it'll take however long it'll take. Occasionally, someone will come to me and say, well, how long is this going to take? And I'll go, well, I don't really know. I think it's going to take a week. Sometimes it takes a month. Sometimes it takes a day. You know, you can overestimate, underestimate. But you have to kind of start to break down the application really at the very beginning to decide, right, this is what I want to build. How am I going to build it? Keeping track. The golden rule there is really, if you don't write it down, it doesn't exist. This is why all our whiteboard sessions, I take a picture of it and I put it on Slack. Anyone heard of Slack? We don't use email at all at work. We use Slack, which is basically a messaging platform for business. And it's great. It's way better than email for us because it means that rather than kind of searching through an inbox, we can just look through a thread. It means that we can create groups. It means that people can see exactly what's going on. It's very transparent.